Captain's Log Supplemental.
Hey Jeremy, you know those race cars you're busy building?
Yeah, I do. I
You,
got one
you
that I'm looking at every day.
you know what I don't see you working on?
You don't see me working on the amazing Sentinel system yet.
That's true. It would take all of 10 minutes for you to have one.
And it's very quick and easy to install.
It is. It is. And we could watch you when we are not at the race with you and see how you're doing. And then we can call you up when you get out of the car and tell you everything you did wrong.
And I love that because so many years I've been driving and not been able to see what I'm doing.
I know.
And now we can.
I know. You know what I'd like to do with the video? My most favorite thing is I take the video and I load it on YouTube and then I send it to my coach and say, look at 26 minutes and 17 seconds. Look at this one lap and tell me what I can do better. And every single time, you know what they say?
Everything.
Exactly. Precisely. So with the Sentinel system, you get instantaneous feedback plus useful feedback that unfortunately is accurate for my driving.
I think it's accurate for all of our driving.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's probably true. Yep. But you need to get one in your car, sir.
Yes, I do. And with the discount code that you're going to tell everybody, they can save 10% on this awesome system.
Yep. Trouble free. I haven't had an issue getting video every time we've gone out with the Sentinel. It's always worked. Can't say the same for some of the other systems we've tried. So I don't know. It's on the podcast notes down there. Don't do it while you're driving, though. We like to have our listeners live. It's good.
From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuck. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
I have given up having everybody who drove every car at the same time. I just can't host it. It's like 16 people on one podcast. Okay.
So many people.
So many. Being a highly paid podcast professional, much like you, Mr. Burr, my skills are limited in a major way. If
Hello.
well, there she's alive.
Oh, I am so tired. How about you guys?
Yep. Very much so.
Yeah. All right. Well, keep the energy down, guys. I don't want to blow any speakers out on anybody. People.
It's not the type of exhaustion that it was early on, I do have to say. You know, early on in Lemons, I mean, I'd be asleep till Thursday. You know, but now it's not so bad. But I don't think that we stress as much about things anymore.
Lies. Anyway.
Uh,
All right. Very well. Jeff's going to be here 8:30. Let's get this rolling. We're 3 hours past Jen's bedtime.
I'm fine. I took a nap.
Oh, she's going for second sleeper. No worries. All right. Very well. Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training podcast. It's a post-race episode, which means race hangover fully employed. Anyway, let's see. How are we going to do this? I didn't even go over this before. Not that I'm tired or anything. Reverse alphabetical order by first name. Who else is hosting?
I'm Vicki.
I'm Jennifer.
J comes before T. Whatever.
Tim.
I'm Ryan.
All right. And I'm Jeff Wakeman. I'll be here soon. Jeff will be here in about half an hour or so. He's still making dinner. I guess when you go away for the weekend, you have to do like dadly duties. So it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. We'll do it by, Tim, you don't get to come on here too often. You've never been on a podcast before. Everyone should turn into the Everyone Racers podcast to see what wood can do. Tim, where were we?
We were in Jersey, New Jersey Motorsports Park. It was fun. It's I think my fourth time in Jersey, fourth or fifth time.
Mm-hmm.
So good stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was a good weekend.
All the Jersey things. It was a good weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. I don't know that we've talked to you. You drove it pre-pave and post-pave.
Correct.
What do you think the difference is? Anything better, worse?
I think it's a lot better. I love the change that they made to turn one specifically. I think that is so much better.
Unless you're on the pit lane coming out.
Yeah, but it's safer. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think they managed it pretty well with the rules.
Yep.
So everybody understood the assignment.
Yeah. And now you can go so much faster through turn one.
Right.
Which...
Yeah. Now we understand why there's a chicane. Yes. That would be blisteringly fast without the chicane, but that's okay.
I don't know. The exit out of the chicane, what, 3C?
Yeah.
That transition's pretty miserable in the truck.
It is, for sure.
Yes.
Which is why it's there. Because if you just did 1, 2, 3, it would be a bajillion miles an hour into turn 4.
Mm-hmm.
By just about everybody, except us. Jennifer, would you like to be the weather girl for the weekend?
My stints were perfect.
I know. Jennifer's like, I look at this weather. It says rain in the afternoon. I say, I'm going first.
It wasn't too bad. There was a point where we had to pull everybody off the track because there was some lightning. But I mean, it was actually a really convenient time. It was really lunchtime.
Right when we were running low on gas, worked out pretty well for
everybody. I mean, it wasn't optimal, but it wasn't terrible.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, my only complaint about the weather was spring existed for all of 6 hours because it was in the 30s last weekend, and we don't live that far away from the track, and then it was like 85, but that's okay. Ryan, what did we drive and how did it get here in such a fine, stellar fashion?
El Jeffe. Give it any other name you want, but the original El Jeffe, Bad Hombre, Chevy S10.
Trophy truck.
Various incarnate. Yeah, trophy truck.
Oh, it's got a gajillion, nicknames. The Loki truck.
Yeah, Miss Vicki dropped it off at my place a couple weeks prior, and I went through it and need a harmonic balancer, crank seal, transmission tail shaft seal. I put some stiffer front springs in it.
That made a difference.
Swapped a gacked upper front control arm, a couple other little odds and ends to get it ready, and sent it back on down.
Awesome. Miss Vicki, since you were the biggest complainer about the rear end of the truck at the last race, you just said that makes a difference.
It does. It really did. The race truck used to have a spool on the differential, correct? The differential was actually a spool, so both wheels would turn. And as Ryan had
Fred
pointed,
Flintstone car.
Yeah. It didn't make the truck super fast, but it added a lot of torque and balance. So when you only have the one wheel spinning, and of course you don't have the back end of the cab, not the cab part. What is it? The tail, the tail and the trunk, whatever. What is that? The bed of the truck is gone.
Called a post-race hangover here. That's what it's called.
I'm so tired. So the bed of the truck is gone. So that weight is not there to add to it. The only thing we have is a fuel cell that sits on the axle. And without that spool, and you're making the turns, of course, you have one tire that comes up off the ground. And the issue that I kept having was the sensation that, the tire is not touching the ground. So you're kind of coasting around a corner and you're pressing that gas, and all of a sudden, as soon as the car kind of balances itself out, it kind of grabs the asphalt and then takes off. And that was a little unnerving for me at the first race because we had lighter coilovers on it, and Ryan had made that adjustment, so it did balance the car out quite a bit. until the gas tank would start lightening up, and then we start having the same problem again. But it ran really well. It
Mhm.
really, really did.
Miss
It
Jen,
was very quick.
Miss Jen, did you improve? Did you find it was improved, or did you not see a difference, or what do you think?
Oh gosh, there was a huge difference. I felt we were talking a little bit about the tires today, and you said they were just crappy tires, but I just felt like they were just the right amount of sticky.
Oh no, what in the rain they did not do well.
No,
The rain was a little difficult,
but
but
see, your experience and mine were completely different because I didn't have any rain.
that's correct. Correct.
RS4s are not known for being good rain tires.
No, no, they're not.
Plus, they're
So
one or two sizes too skinny, so
yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. It's all right.
and
But yeah, there was definitely, and Ryan and I were talking. He had asked me if I felt a difference with the sway, and there was a difference. So absolutely, it was a much different ride than it was last race.
Okay. So ladies, before we ask Ryan, and Tim, you can't vote because you didn't see the before. You only saw the after. This is your first experience with El Jefe, the trophy truck.
That's false.
No?
I drove it when we did the dodgeball theme.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Mhm.
That's right.
Mhm.
So many races, so little brain. So, um, should we go for more spring, ladies?
I just keep like, how do we make the back end heavier? Because we don't have that back end.
I mean,
That's
it's
it.
Jersey. We
That's
could
the
put
only
dead
thing.
bodies back
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But or put that torque back on. And the thing is me and Jeremy were talking about it, is that we're not sure how without that torque it's going to perform when it comes to going to New Hampshire, because going up the hill it
Yeah.
might create a problem. But not that it is a problem, but it's just, another little challenge that just probably needs to be solved.
So, truck engineer Ryan, what's the thought? More spring?
The truck needs three things, and I think it could be a B class winner. It needs go
Shh,
back to
shh.
245s.
It's a C class truck. Remember, it's a
It needs
C.
to go back. It needs to go back to 245s because 225s are way too small on that thing.
Mhm.
We went from 640-pound springs to 800-pound springs. I'd probably go to 950s, help get a little bit more roll out of the truck, and it needs adjustable front upper control arms with taller ball joints to correct the camber curve issues those trucks are
Hmm.
known for. I think those three things, and I was still hucking it in at inappropriate speeds.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how much faster you can send it in. It's fun to mess with E30s. Really
Hmm.
is.
It is, and nobody expects it. I do like, and this being New Jersey, it's somewhat appropriate. Uh, I like when cars decide to, try and push around the truck because they never come out well. I mean, you're going to lose. Although I would have said the same thing about Amanda's car too, but somehow it didn't.
I have to say the brakes on the truck
Super
were
brakes.
Oh, they were very
awesome.
sticky.
Oh my goodness. Like, you had the pedal, the start of the pedal is a little soft, so you've got to find like where it starts to grab, but when it grabs, holy cow, like drop anchor, that thing
Yep.
stops.
Did you say
I,
you
I
wanted to stop, Tim? I will stop you.
I had a lot of fun with a couple people going into one where it was like they're like, oh, I'm hanging in there with you. I'm hanging there with you. I said, all right, let's go. I'm on the inside. You're going off. I know it. So I had a guy drive off on one trying to outbrake the truck, and the same thing on five. So it was fun to watch people try to just stay with the truck.
Mhm.
It is really good.
It
Really good.
On
punches
Saturday, I must
above.
have had like a half-hour duel with the Buell where he got in front of me and I couldn't get around him for that half hour, but spent the whole lap, they'd blow me out and blow away on me on straightaway, and I'd reel him in for the rest of the lap, come off of the last turn side by side and pull away, and it was a good time. It was a good
Yeah.
time.
The Buell was fast.
Yes, it
Faster
was.
than I thought it was. I mean, for the amount of weight that's on that truck, on that car.
It was
Like,
always
holy
fast.
cow.
It just had really short stints
Yeah.
because of heat, but that's okay. All right. Well, we got classified as a B class car. B class. B. B. Let's have some data, shall we? Allow me to bust out my data wand. 131 cars entered the race. Would you care to guess, anyone, what from fastest to slowest, what rank was the truck from 131 entries? Now, there was like 6 or 7 or so that didn't race, so we're counting them, but they're obviously faster. So, anyone? Guesses? Guesses?
57.
57. Okay. Jennifer?
Well, I know.
Okay. Then shut up.
75th.
She's honest to a fault. Tim, you want to guess? You're a judge. You should be able to do this. You should classify cars well. You've got experience. I mean, what can't it do?
I said 57. That's
Did you?
my
Okay.
guess.
All right.
Yep.
Miss Vicki?
I'm thinking 53.
Okay. Very close to adding up all 3 of your scores. 112.
Really?
Really. This is why I vehemently tried to get us in Class C. So anyway, there we go. So we ended up
No.
finishing.
Well, listen, I do have to say that Sunday, I mean, a Saturday in the rain was just a survival mode on those tires.
On Saturday, we were 96th.
Yeah. It was survival mode, just trying to keep that.
You're not helping my argument. Stay with me. Stay with me.
Okay.
We should be a Class C car because we're 112th. And we finished 51st. Only 2 cars of which that were ahead of us were slower than us. Because there's not a lot of cars that are slower than 112 by, math. Anyway, let's see. What else do we have? Ryan, you drove in another car that it didn't do as well as we did. Did it? No, wait. Maybe it did.
Yes, I drove in the number 18 Variant Cream Motorsports E36. We took second overall.
First loser.
Nice.
Well, who would have thought this would be the race that Lamino didn't break?
We were pushing hard to get around him. We got close.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Tom. Congratulations to you guys. That was very good. Second place in 130 field. I'll take second place. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Tim, you were in another vehicle. How'd you do?
I was in the 71 Cressida, the Cheaties car. That car is just so fun and so easy to drive.
It's just a hammer. It's just like, I don't care. Whatever. You're a nail.
Great.
I'm gonna hit
you. Yep. It just does whatever you ask it to do, and it's very communicative, and it never does anything that you wouldn't expect. It's like a well-trained dog. It's just always by your side.
But it's not a puppy. It's a more mature, refined.
Yeah, it doesn't have sharp teeth.
Does not have sharp teeth. Does not run around. Does not pee on your leg. That's fine. All right. Let's see. We got a couple questions before. Black flags, people. Black flags. How did we do, Tim? I don't think you had any because you only got in there for one. You did?
Not in your truck. I had one for the weekend. Yeah, I got rear-ended.
Oh no!
So
by who?
Self-report. I don't know. There was a disaster behind me, and so we were coming up on yellow, and apparently no one behind me noticed that, and I got whacked pretty good in the back. And when I looked up in my rearview mirror, there were cars going like this at me. So I'm not sure which one of them hit me.
See, now that's when you need to be in the truck, Tim, because if they hit you from the back in the truck, their day is done.
Yeah, fair.
So, exactly. Miss Jen, I think you were clean.
Yes.
Awesome. Miss Vicki, not so clean.
Not so clean.
How many not so black flags do you going to claim? How many are you claiming?
Well, okay, so there's technicalities.
Oh, that sounds like 2 at least.
Right. One it was a spin out.
Did you
spin?
And
I did. And
it
was
technicality of
it was
1.
4 off.
Oh, wait. Tim, you're a judge. You can corroborate this. If you spin and go 4 off, is that a black flag, Tim?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So
okay. So I did.
If you spin or go 4 off,
yes,
it's a black flag.
Yes. No, I got
definitely. And
there was a black flag, but I don't think I got penalized.
We
And
didn't say penalized. We said
okay,
black
so
flags.
I did get called in for the black flag. I don't
Hmm.
think I got penalized for it because we did a lot of very, very responsible work before we got on track. Our team did. Um, and that was we had gone out for to start, racing, and we are going in for the check-in, and Jennifer was like, "Listen, I don't want to drive because my mirrors are not set. I need to go back in." And then I had gone out
What does that
and
have to do with you spinning and going four off?
but listen, and then I had gone in and said, I am not comfortable with the straps. I need to go back in when I had gone out. And I think Miss Janice had come over and said, listen, these two, they weren't messing around with safety. So I think that they just didn't actually penalize me for that black flag.
But it's
So
still a black flag.
it's still black flag. And the second, I didn't really get a black flag, but I think my black flag got passed off to somebody else.
Yes, our other car.
Yes.
That was in the top 10. So
Yes.
nice
Yes.
job.
Yeah, I did come in a self-report because somebody hit me and threw me into the
So
they
there's
threw me
three.
into the middle of the octopus. Well, I didn't get a black flag, but I self-reported because
That's three.
they hit me. Yeah, they hit
What a
me.
savage.
Right.
That's
They hit me going into
three.
the octopus. And then because it was raining, also they threw me right into the octopus.
So you got
Uh,
two and bequeathed one onto our other
I
teammates.
did. I did.
Nice.
But I went in and of course I was really um
So
I was very upset that somebody had thrown me in there, but I was concerned about the car.
you weren't
So
concerned
Randy's
enough
like,
not to hit people.
go check and then come back every at one point. I was just like so indignant. And Randy's like, listen, you're being a whole lot of Vicky right now. So I
Oh,
need you. There's a lot.
there's a
So he goes, I just need you to
there's a
calm
lot of
down a little
that for
bit,
sure. Yeah.
take a breath,
Okay.
and then just go race and have a good time. Like, okay. He goes, do you know who hit you? And I'm like, no, I don't. But it ended up being the cheetah car. Um, so
Yeah, he came over to apologize. Straight up.
yeah,
He did.
yeah. And the other
So
one was Audra's car. I think her car drove into me. It seems like a lot of that, but
how Tim, excuse me, Judge Tim, what can I do? How many people are involved with a on track incident? How many cars?
I just want to say a different direction. If you get pregnant, it's both of your fault.
There
it,
you go.
yes, okay, yes, but if you're driving and you're in a position and somebody's not looking at their mirrors and they literally decide that they're going to drive the line and drive into you, that's what kind of happened the second time. It's like I was there, but he wasn't looking and he just kind of decided to follow that line and just I'm like, is does he not see me? Does he not see me? No, he does not see me.
Do you not
And he
have a brake pedal?
just
Do you not have a steering wheel?
if I did and I would have had to lock him up.
Mhm. Okay.
And I think that was probably what was going to have to happen.
So,
But I had cars behind me too, so
are there any others that you're going to not tell
no,
us
that was
about?
it.
Okay,
Those are
I'm
the other
just
two.
curious. Okay.
But, going into it, going into the next race, I'm going to be even more cautious and realize that I really have to go on defensive driving just as much. Apparently, not just offensive driving or just driving, it's defensive driving. So,
Mhm.
I
You do
love I
realize
love our Lemons community, but one thing that I've learned is to not have high expectations when
yeah,
out on the racetrack. For you don't know
yeah,
who's out there. You just
yeah,
don't know who's out there.
yeah. So, but
so.
anyway, those were the incidents that I had.
Okay. So, Ryan, how about you? Clean?
No, I had one black flag
People.
for pass under yellow, right by station 9. Um, I admit I didn't. The flag looked white to me. And I don't want to talk poorly of corner workers, but I'm not the only person who shared it. The flagging was not great. And I
No, it
know corner
wasn't.
workers have an absolutely thankless job and they're there for our
Yes.
safety, but
And we
The
thank
whites
them for
versus
it.
the whites versus the yellows were kind of tough this weekend. There were a lot of stations where you'd see like, one station yellow, then white, and then yellow, and it was causing the race to bottleneck up everywhere. So a little bit of coordination would have been a little better. And then we saw some really weird, white with standing yellow, white with waving yellow. What's the difference, guys? It's
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes they held the flags like really close together.
yes, that
So,
too.
so part of it was like I couldn't see the yellow for the white because it was almost like they were side by side and they were like up and down, and that was just not all of them, just like maybe one inexperienced corner worker.
You should probably
But
just assume it's a black flag as far as
yeah,
you know.
yeah, but yeah, there was a couple people that kind of drove through yellow flags before they caught themselves.
Mm, mm, okay.
Yeah.
It sounds
But
like
that's okay. It's like you said, it's lemons, and we had
wow.
a discussion about races and different leagues that you go into and the cultures that are there. And, the lemons culture is you got to start somewhere.
Yes,
Right.
but you started there a long time ago.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway,
I
all
did.
right, very well. At least one of the Wilson sisters knows how to drive. Wow. I would never.
Wow.
Burn.
Sick burn, yeah.
I gotta say, I only aspire to be like Vicki.
Okay. All right. Well,
Get them black flags.
as my usual response when somebody says that about me, I say you should really aim higher. Uh,
Yeah.
all right. Standout cars of the weekend. Who saw cool stuff? Anyone? Chime
Oh
in.
my gosh, there were so many good
That
cars.
what was the shark and the
Oh, the
fin?
shark. The
That fin was so awesome on the racetrack.
did you end up pulling up behind that, Tim, at all?
I
The
did
the
not.
Porsche. All right,
No, it
so
was
the
Miata. It was
yes,
an NA
yes, it
Miata.
was. And the Miata already had nice curves on it as it
Miata
was,
made
and
by
it was
Porsche.
gray. Well, no, yeah, I don't know. I think it was a Porsche. You're right. I think it was a Porsche. Anyway, but it was great, and we found out that his son had made these things out of styrofoam, and he had created these things, and he matched the roundness of the car with the roundness of the fins. But the way it was attached onto the back of the car is that every time it turned, it would lean and it would move with the car when it
Looked
was.
like a real shark
It looked
swimming.
like a
It looked
shark tail, so it would
great.
turn, and the whole fin would turn with the car. It would just lean over. But it was, yeah, it was almost like a gate bracket that was on it, so it just kind of, kinetics made it sway back and forth. But we had to go up. We found them, on Saturday night. I'm like, the back end of your car cracks me up when we're hitting in those turns because the whole tail just leans and turns with the car. Because I'll tell my son that my teenage son built those.
Oh,
Very
that's
good.
fantastic.
It was.
It was really awesome.
And
All
of
right.
course, the Italian Job had a really good car with the frickin' meatballs on top with this
And
pasta
pasta.
this year.
Awesome. They
Handing out-
really did a nice job.
Yeah,
yeah, they
they
were
were
handing out stickers.
they were a little
Eat pasta,
dejected.
go faster.
They were a little dejected last year. We had to talk them off the
Yeah.
ledge of, how could they, they felt like they had put forth a winning victory. And I said the key to doing this is if you don't get what you want, just come back bigger.
So,
And they did.
And they did.
Oh, yes, they did.
so I was driving, and it was a sightseeing car. It was the bright sightseeing car.
Watch the tram car, please.
Watch the tram car, please. So he was behind me at one time, and we had the yellow flags. And again, the yellow flags come up really quick on you, whatever. So I ended up in a line where I almost passed, and I pulled back, and I got back in line, and he was behind me. He's like, "Watch the tram car, please." And I'm like, "Yes, I will." So yeah, he was pretty funny going around the track too. Those guys. Yeah, but those were the three cars that I remember the most.
Tim, you got some?
Well, my favorite announcement of the weekend was when Eric got on the radio or got on the microphone and said, Will the team that lost their meatballs and pasta please pick it up at the control tower
Awesome.
when it blew off of the roof of their car on
Oh
Friday?
no.
Because what are the chances of that happening anywhere else?
Totally. So
Maybe a first for NJMP.
I
that
can't,
was
can't
was
believe they
fantastic.
showed up with an actual confessional booth. Like
That
the
was
real
amazing.
confessional booth.
And
Did you
sofa
guys hear?
set.
Did you hear the story about the confessional booth that
No.
they got? All
No.
right, so real quick, so they they were gonna get a pew, and they were hemming and hawing about it, and it was $300, and they were like, yeah, I don't know, and they said, one of the other guys says, I'll split it with you. So they reached back out, and it was gone by the time they went to get it.
Mm.
So they were like, oh, well, let's Google search marketplace for confessional. And lo and behold, one pops up in DC.
Go.
So they drive down to DC and they pick up this that one you saw,
Right.
the
The confessional
confessional
booth.
booth for $200, and it was in a bar that was a converted church, from church to bar. And they for because people do this kind of things in bar, what it ended up turning into was young women would go into the confessional booth and flash their breasts in the bar. And that's like what it turned into. I guess they got into trouble. The bar got into trouble and had to get rid of it. So they sold
Oh
it.
no. Oh my
What a
god.
story.
So
I was going to say, why'd the bar get rid of it then? I mean,
Yeah.
that would be,
yeah,
bringing in
they
people.
should
Oh,
have
Oh my
got a second one.
I know.
And then they freaking rolled up with the plastic furniture.
the
The plastic covered furniture
Oh
with
my
the
God.
doilies everywhere. Oh my
That
god.
was
So
epic.
Mhm.
It was
Really,
so good.
really well done.
Indeed.
So that was great. And then the Studebaker, the bullet nose
Yes.
Studebaker,
Right.
was
The rainbow one. Yeah.
absolutely my favorite. That thing
Mhm.
was amazing.
Yep.
So
Yeah, what team
congrats to
was that?
Manny.
That was a
That
familiar.
was-
Oh, that was the.
That was Manny.
Man.
Yeah, that was the Sesame Street Outlaws.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Miss Jen, what you thinking? Cars that stuck out? Anything?
Well, I said the shark. That was the
Yeah.
one, and that Studebaker was really pretty. It was so
Indeed.
springy.
Ryan, anything?
I really like the Scope Creep Racing Dodge Omni
Mhm.
between the homemade wide body kit and just that Radwood era paint
Mhm.
job,
Right.
and the fact that that turd could haul ass the way it did, doglegging around the whole track. It was fun trying to keep up with him in a Beamer, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong if I can't get around this guy?
There was one guy on that team. I don't know which one it was, but he could sling it. He was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that car is usually not slow, but it looked exceptionally fast. Welcome to the podcast, El Jefe himself, El Jefe.
Are we on a podcast?
Yeah, it's a new thing. New thing. We thought we'd talk about a little bit about our NJMP weekend. How was
Yeah.
yours?
Oh, very good. I got out there in the rain and
Mhm.
I slayed like you wouldn't believe. And then usually what happens when it starts to get dry is when I screw up and spin into the grass.
Mhm.
So I made sure to tell myself, thou art mortal. Thou
One-
art mortal.
One notch lower instead of one notch higher, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you
Speed
had
up gently.
you had a little bit of mechanical stuff with the
We did. Should I
trouble-free.
introduce myself and say who I
Yes,
am? And everything?
sure.
Okay. I'm Jeff Wakeman from the Three Pedal Mafia, and I was in the Three Pedal Mafia Mazda 3 this weekend. That is the white wagon Mazda 3. It's got a 2.3 swap out of a Ford whatever Fusion with the Mazda head. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's a quick little car. So yeah, we're doing well. I took the rainy shift because that's like what I like. And it's been a year since I've been in the car, so I took some time, took the first 20 minutes to get acclimated, and then they black flagged. So
Got to rethink everything. Settled
Yeah,
in?
yeah. No, not me. I didn't black flag.
No,
They
no,
black flagged
the
all. Yeah,
Black Flag All, yeah.
yeah. They black flagged all. So I came in, and then it was like I kind of sat for like an hour. It was lightning, right? I
Yeah.
assume.
Lightning, yeah.
Yes.
Because there was a black flag all for the roll, but I was not in on that one.
No. That was earlier
Yeah,
in the
yes.
day. That
So
was
there
like
was
20
about
minutes in.
Yeah. So there was about an hour pause for the lightning, and then I went out, and it was really wet, and I slayed them sons of bitches like they were sitting still.
Mm-hmm.
I literally was concerned at how slow and terrible everybody was. I was like, "Don't you all drive in the rain on a random Tuesday? Like, what's wrong with you all?"
Yes, and you've seen them drive in the rain on a random Tuesday, and that's who you were racing against.
And there was a lot of people spinning and a lot of people on the grass, and I'm just like, "Oh, I don't know." Do you have an episode on driving in the rain?
We do.
Recommend it to everybody.
We do. We do.
Put it up there or something.
Up there in
And,
the doodly do, shall we say?
And put it down there in the doodly do and let everybody
Okay.
go read that one because man, y'all suck in the rain.
But the reason you're here with us today is because El Jefe got to drive El Jefe.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Oh,
Yeah. Yep.
Was it in the rain, Jeff?
it was not. It was in the dry.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, and I had completely forgotten how to drive El Jefe,
Yup.
and I was
Right.
really terrible for the first. I guess I was out there like about 45 minutes, right?
I think it was an hour. I think you had.
Was it an hour? I think I was
a
a little less
under,
than an
a little
hour.
less than an
Yeah, a
hour.
little
But it was, yeah.
The first 20 minutes, I was an absolute terror. I could not make it turn. I couldn't make it go straight. I couldn't like not lock up the brakes. Yeah, it was rough for the first 20 minutes or so.
And then,
And then I kind of remembered.
like, I
You
believe
saw-
there's this guy I know. He used to say you have to just grab it by the scruff of the neck and throw it around.
I had forgotten that you don't dance with the El Jefe truck.
Mm-mm.
But you do dance, but it's like a punk slam dance.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
It's a
know,
mosh
like,
pit kind of thing. Yeah.
It's a mosh pit, yeah.
Mhm.
There's a lot of
Um,
waiting for the car to settle before you can do things with it.
And figure out what gear you want to be in way before you need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And not fifth.
Never
fifth.
fifth.
Fifth does not exist.
Fifth
Nope,
is,
never
fifth is
fifth.
imaginary. There's no fifth gear to see here. These aren't the fifth gear you're looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I-
would just go ahead.
I was gonna say I closed on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and as I drove by Eric Rude, he said, "Oh my God, you're in El Jefe," and I said, "I built this thing. I should be arrested."
Luckily, it's New Jersey and everything's legal. It's fine.
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
That's a good time.
Except fueling your own vehicle.
Yes, can't do that. Yeah.
No.
Oh, so you know what the solution was this year? This was the fantastic solution. So in New Jersey, background, you're not allowed to pump gas because we're not trained professionals that we aren't allowed by the state to pump gas. And then secondarily, somehow, somewhere, I believe statewide, you are not allowed to put gas into a container that's not red because
Right.
red apparently makes things flammable from gasoline. And I had that explained to me by one of the gentlemen at a Wawa. And it was that year when it was like 115 degrees or felt like it at least. And I was tired. I was cranky. I was hot. And he starts telling me about how the red makes it impermeable to gas. So I lost my shit.
You what do you do for a living?
Materials scientist kind of guy. And one of the few times I busted it out and I was just like, so. But anyway, so the solution this year, you ready? They're not allowed to pump into white $200, $150, or depending on sale, Hunsackers made for racing fuel. They're not allowed to pump into those because they're white. However, if I were to pump it into the container, that was fine. So that was what we had to do at a certain gas station that everybody knows and nobody wants to say because we don't want them to be the only place we can't go get gas. So the solution was not only can I not pump it into a white container or they can't pump it into a white container, I can pump it into a white container, which is basically all three New Jersey rules backwards.
I think, I'm not sure. I have to go check, and I'm not a lawyer, so please consult your lawyers in your own state. I believe you're not allowed to pump gas into a car,
You're not.
but you
That's
are allowed
that's
to
a
pump
static
gas.
thing.
But you are allowed to pump gas into a container.
Correction. If the vehicle is diesel, they will not pump diesel fuel. They would not pump fuel into my Suburban, so I had to go do it myself. I'm like, fine, cool. I don't want you to drip it all over my truck anyways.
Yeah,
So take that.
Yeah.
it's real specific. It's gas into a car. So like if you're filling up like your lawnmower can, usually they go, "Oh yeah, you can do that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is assuming that the guy who is getting minimum wage at the Wawa actually knows the rules.
Oh, they don't
And
get
cares enough to
minimum
follow
wage there. They're actually
No.
paid pretty well.
Now last year, they
Last
would
year was
not,
totally different.
they would not allow anyone, you or themselves, to pump into a white container.
Correct.
So therefore, what we did is we had them pump it into the red container, and then I immediately poured it into the white container in the bed of the truck, and then handed them the red container back and said, "Could you please fill that up again for me?"
This one's empty.
Yes.
So it says here in New Jersey, red cans are mandated for transporting gasoline and other flammable liquids. So it's red for that, for
Green
gasoline.
Green
It's
for kerosene or something.
it's blue for kerosene and yellow for diesel.
Okay.
It's under the Retail Gasoline Dispensing Safety Act.
Well, it's all about the color. The color makes it safe.
That's right. Color is the key. And last time I checked, and I did look at the rule one time, it was for transport, not for filling. Anyway, very well. Not that I'm fired up about this.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I think, since you have it open, Vicki, whatever thing you're on, what are the pumping rules? Does it say specifically pumping gas into a vehicle? Hence, what Ryan just said, like diesel is okay, and what I said, like into a can is okay.
Pumping diesel in a can or in a car?
like that they'll let him pump the diesel, and they'll let me put it in the lawnmower can, as long as it's red, of course. Is that not on your website there?
I think that's just a technicality. I think that's like a Reddit thing.
The local fire marshal also has some.
It's all terrible. There's no reason to be in Jersey ever.
No.
Unless you're visiting me. So
Indeed. And if you want to see Jeff, go to no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so traditional good, bad, and the ugly. Good being a highlight for the weekend, could be something you did driving, could be something else. Bad being a low light for the weekend, and ugly. Sometimes there's no ugly, and we just want story time because we love story time. So, last to arrive, first to answer, El Jefe himself.
all right. Well, the good was my getting back into the groove, especially in the rain. The rain, I was just so much more comfortable in the rain. Love it all the time. Even when I got back out Sunday, because I had that rain shift, I like immediately turned on in the dry and was clicking off absolutely fine laps if I felt like it. We were kind of out of the contention for anything, so we were kind of just enjoying some racing with friends at that point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about anything bad? Any lowlights? Anything?
The bad, I have back spasms, and I hurt my back the day before the race. Actually, the morning before the race.
That seemed to be going around.
Friday morning, test day. So
yeah.
It was terrible. It was bad. It wasn't the ugly.
Okay.
I'll give you the ugly when you ask. Go ahead.
The ugly / story time.
Oh my gosh, our theme made so many people uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
There were so many moments where I just said, "Ooh."
But But did it ever make you guys uncomfortable? Because that was what I was looking
No,
for.
it wasn't
No, no.
uncomfortable. Just
The
I
response.
definitely I definitely touched more mouths. Luckily, with a gloved
Oh!
hand, I did wear gloves when I was at the dinner, so most of the feeding that I was doing was moderately sanitary as compared to the rest of the world at a racetrack.
And speaking of people who were moderately sanitary, someone who shoved some chocolate down Jeremy's throat. Hey, Tim, how's your good, bad, and the ugly, sir?
It was fun. So here, the good's super easy. This was the first time I was in a race car since last September, and I was
Really?
like
Way.
crack addict. I couldn't wait to get back in the car.
Did someone say there's a seat over there? Did someone say there's a seat over here?
I was
Any seats?
like,
Any seats? Any seats?
yeah, I just needed a fix bad. So it was awesome that I got to race again. Did 2 stints in the Cressida, and then when Jeremy came over and said, "Hey, we've got a spot in El Jefe to close the day out on Sunday," I was like an 8-year-old boy with a new toy at Christmas. I couldn't wait to get over. He was like, "You got 30 minutes," and I was like, "I need a Gatorade, and I'll see you there."
Oh wow.
All right. So Tim, crack baby, what was your bad?
The bad was probably the rear end getting whacked in the back in the Cressida. It's I hate when stuff like that happens, and you
Right.
come in, and the whole time I'm driving in towards penalty, I'm like, oh, I really hope the car's not like just
Because you can't tell,
destroyed.
right?
No idea. It's like
Yeah.
it feels okay, but the whole thing was under it happened in coming out of 6. And it was yellow like all through the octopus. So I couldn't even like give it a wiggle to see, if it felt okay, because
Right.
we were all going so slow. So, you're coming in fingers crossed that the back of the car is not folded up. So, and it was totally fine. So I was very, very happy about that. So that was
The frame and the bumper held.
yeah. And so that was good. The ugly was at so the last part of the day. Actually, I have two uglies.
Feel free. We have plenty of
Saturday-
tape in this machine.
Saturday, when I was in the Cressida, the Chartini guys in their brown BMW had a fuel issue. And every time they made a left-hand turn, gas was just pouring out of the filler door.
Oh, that's terrible.
So I called it in to the crew and had them tell HQ. HQ brought them in and took a look and I guess sent them out, asked them to fix it. And they went back out. I don't know if they talked to HQ again afterwards, but they went back out and it was still leaking. So somehow I got back behind them again. So I was following them for like 45 minutes with just wicked fuel fumes in the car. I got out of the car, I felt awful, right? It's just like headachy. It was bad. So I think the cap was probably just not on all the way.
It's never the cap.
Never the cap. Ask us how we know.
It wasn't leaking Sunday. It wasn't leaking Sunday, so it had to be something stupid.
Yes.
What happens if you don't fix it?
Well, I mean, you can park for as long as you wish because you're
Yeah.
done.
Or the whole weekend.
Tim doesn't know. Right after I sold Bill and Company El Jefe, we were in New Hampshire and we had a fuel leak. And I tried to fix it.
Did you?
And it did not fix.
No.
And it leaked again. And I tried to fix it again. And I brought it back. And they basically said, no, you had your opportunity. You're parked for the weekend.
That sucked.
9 laps.
9 laps.
They do not mess around with fuel leaks. That is for sure.
That's why I'm surprised to hear you say that they had it on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they got snagged a second time.
That's because you were drinking it. Nobody could see.
Yeah. So that was ugly. But the ugly that I was talking about was, and I asked Bill if he had the video rolling in the truck because it would be spectacular but the white Cordoba, whoever was driving that at the end of the day Sunday, was just wringing its neck. Like,
but not in a good way.
15 tenths. The car was on the limit.
The white Cordoba had some pop on Sunday. I was out there with it.
Yep. Yeah, they were just wringing its neck. So I throttled back a little bit. I was like, this guy is just like, good luck trying to get around him, right? So coming into 3, he goes in 3A, and him and like a champagne colored 330 are in there side by side. The Cordoba just can't hang with the turning radius that he's trying to make with the speed that he's got, and just washes out straight into the BMW right in front of me. The two of them go sideways, and I'm on the brakes, and I'm approaching the BMW, and I'm running out of track to the right, and the BMW is now rolling backwards towards the only little piece of track that's available. And I was like,
2 feet in, 2 feet in,
2 feet in, 2 feet in. And he did. And I was like, woo. And the guy behind me like flew by me on the right in the grass. So it was like just absolute chaos. And somehow I snuck through the whole mess without touching anything. So I was like, oh, Bill, you're going to have some good footage on that one, buddy. I had a front row seat to that shit show.
Well, we don't.
Womp, womp.
Womp, womp. Ryan, good, bad, and the ugly, sir.
Good would be the performance we had with the BMW. Car was great the whole weekend.
I would say second place, not so shabby in the 130 cars.
Car was a lot of fun to drive. The bad had a couple tangos going down the front straightaway. The white Cobalt almost put me into the wall because he wasn't paying attention. And me and the Saab were duking it out first thing Sunday morning, and a yellow came up, but we were coming full tilt out of the corner and we couldn't see it till the very end. And it was a-holes and elbows as everyone was scrambling to get around a car that was broken down in the middle of the track. That was fun. The ugly was my Jersey curse. That's been 2 years in a row now, and I'm hoping I'm breaking it next year. Last year I was halfway to Jersey, and my son passed me his stomach bug Thursday afternoon, and I was puking on the side of the Jersey Turnpike. Had to turn that around. This year it was my truck decided to the really expensive gauge cluster I have for it to keep tabs on it, decided to shit the bed Wednesday coming home from work, and I spent all day Thursday swapping in an old gauge system I had just to get something to tow my camper down, and I made it down midday on Friday. So it was a scramble to get down there for sure.
I could have sworn your bad or your ugly was going to be the orange pillow that was in the seat for you.
That made it uncomfortable, and I am still struggling from that. My shoulders are pretty wrecked.
So Ryan drove a 2+ hour stint in the, I don't know, crescent shape. We'll go with crescent shape due to an extra seat pillow being in the car as opposed to what he needed. But part of him was comfortable.
You forgot to remove the butt pad, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, I had no clue there was a butt pad, and you do the normal. I'll just get in, throw the belts on, whatever. Cool, get the armband checked, fine. As you're going down pit lane, tighten up and kind of cinch back and sit down a little bit. And I went to sit back a little bit, and I'm like, there's no more back to sit. Oh no! oh no! I'm like an ostrich in this thing. I'm way too high. This is not good.
Yeah, I made sure I got it out the next time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's orange in a totally black interior, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Details. Anyway. I think all around a good showing from the 23 team. Nicely done. Yep. Tim and Jeff, thank you for helping out. We had a little bit short in the number of people driving, and you guys came in and put stellar effort in there, and it was greatly appreciated, and we hope you had a good time.
It was a blast. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, never a problem.
It was a good weekend.
It was great.
It was very little car trouble. Just gremlins, just little things.
I was going to say, in your paddock.
Oh no, what happened
Yeah.
in your paddock, Jeff?
Well, as always, Betty has had problems. It's
Beyond
always
beyond
fueling.
Sunday driver
It,
wake up.
yeah, no,
Beyond
yeah,
the
it was.
beyond the staff.
Oh,
Yeah,
beyond
yeah.
staff.
The,
Okay,
the
sorry.
the staff only sleeps in when they're out of contention.
Okay.
So it's always the same thing. It's always the fuel pump.
Yep.
But they have to do, at least 3 hours of staring at everything inside the engine bay, saying, I think it doesn't have enough electricity. Let's
Yes.
check the spark again.
Mhm.
Let's check the throttle position sensor. Let's check every sensor under the hood. And I'm just like, hey guys, did you check the fuel pump? Because it always seems to be the fuel pump.
But that's
They
no fun, Jeff.
discovered it was the fuel pump.
Mhm.
Oh,
Jeff, was it the fuel pump? Just kidding.
It was the fuel pump.
Needs new fuel pump.
Need new fuel pump. All right. Next race
Hey,
for
can
every-
I,
yeah.
can I
Yeah.
amend
Oh,
my good?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Congratulations, Tom Lamino.
I know.
How many
Yes.
years? You probably already covered this,
It's
but I
okay.
just want to say, Tom, you're one of my buddies, best buddies out there, and I was so glad to see him win. I was getting teary.
So,
Just such
so
such a good dude. Deserved it. Worked so hard. Flailed on so many crappy cars for so many years. None of you remember when he had the VW Fox, right?
yes,
Mm.
we had started with the Fox.
I
Oh,
raced
the
against
Fox
it. Yeah, I
was-
remember it.
Oh yeah, Fox is just terrible, and I mean he was so dedicated to that thing, and and then he moved to the Gulf, and that was terrible too because he's as lousy of a mechanic as he is a. No, I'm kidding. He struggled with that Gulf for a long time,
You did.
and he finally got it together. And what do we always say? Being perfect just gets you the lottery ticket.
Yep.
So he had done a lot of perfect races and never brought home the trophy. And congratulations for finally bringing it home, Tommy.
So the tale of two Laminos.
Oh yeah.
We're coming in. When did we get there? Thursday. So we're coming in. They just broke free, and I see Tom and his trailer with the car on it going out, and I'm like, "Oh no, Tom blew up already." I mean, I know it's hard to imagine Tom's car blowing up, but it's
out of character.
it's happened.
Either way.
It's happened more than once. And I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Well, all right. Well, hopefully, something's. And then I see Jonah pull up behind him. I'm like, oh no, it's definitely blown up. And it turned out that I don't know what they were doing, but anyway, they were fine. So my weekend starts off with, oh, Lamino blew up again. What the hell? I mean, what did he kick somebody's dog or something? And then at the end, he ends up winning. So the tale of two Laminos. I don't know. Could be an episode title. I don't know. I'll figure that out. I got 45 minutes until this thing downloads. Did we miss anything?
Here's a really cute story about the end of the race for Tom. So Tom is 3 laps behind, or 3 laps ahead.
Ahead, yeah.
He was 3 laps ahead all day.
Yes, Ryan's
Whiners-
well aware because he's second.
Yeah. The Boston Whiners were there for a while.
Yep.
And then it became y'all. They're running out of gas. And he's thinking it's a new cell. They don't really know where it's going to end. And he's thinking in the last half hour, we're going to have to do a splash and go. Last half hour, you're going to do a splash and go. I don't remember which guy is which on his team. The guy in the seat was their fastest guy, but he was, fuel conservation. They're trying to get to the end. They have the digital dash. They're all staring at their laptop. Tom has already chewed his fingers to the bone out of anxiousness. And they just make the call. We're going to have to splash and go.
Mm.
For the last hour and a half, I kept telling them, splash and go. And Tom, you get in the seat.
Right.
It's your car. You've worked so hard for so many years. You take the checker flag.
You got to get out anyway. It's not like you can stay in.
Yeah. He decided to leave his hot shoe in because his hot shoe was still warmed up instead of me having to warm up a lap or two.
Yeah.
Let's just leave him in. They do a perfect pit stop. He's starting to feel good. They only lost a lap and a half. They were up by 3, so now it was 2.5-ish. They come back to the paddock and they're all staring at the laptop again. And I'm like, guys, go watch the checker flag in real life. They're like, but we're watching here. No, don't watch on your laptop like you're watching a TV show. You're at the race. Go watch from the tower, over by the tower. So they go over the tower. Those of you who haven't been to Jersey, there's a set of, I don't know, hotel rooms, condos, whatever they are, that's right on the front straight there. And they have like an upper deck so you can watch from above. So he gets there, he's standing by the fence. I'm like, Tom, go up top where you can see. And I said, hey, you guys, this guy's about to win. Make some room for him. So he goes up. He's standing next to a dad and 3 kids. The dad looks at him and says, oh my God, you're the guy from Hoopties.
Oh,
Me and my kids watch that all the time. We came to this race. It's the first time we've ever been to a race.
Oh, wow.
wow.
Awesome.
I think Tom owes that family some t-shirts.
Yeah. He goes over the checkered flag. Everyone's hugging him. Everyone's crying. Everyone's having a good time. Like, those kids are going to remember that emotion for the rest of their life.
That's nice.
Like, we met the guy on TV on the day he won his first race. Like,
That
if
sounds
you
like
don't,
AI generated story.
it's true though. I swear, because I went up after. I went up after. They were like, "You're the Hoopties guy too." Like, there's a scene in Moneyball,
Mhm.
the end of the movie, where they watch some videotape of some guy he's a big heavy guy and he's never done anything other than run to first base because he's big and heavy, and he hit it out of the park in his first like major league hit. And Brad Pitt looks over at Jonah Hill and says, how can you not be romantic about baseball? And at that moment, I was tearing up. These kids told me the story. The dad was so excited to see me. He made me shake his daughter's hand. And I just said, how can you not be romantic about this damn sport that we're in?
Aw.
Great story, Jeff.
Excellent.
Great story.
Indeed.
Oh, snaps, snaps, snaps.
What are you doing? Not up.
All
on
right, so
the
that's it.
lingo.
Go ahead and ask your last question.
Okay.
I was just going to make sure we didn't miss anything. Did we miss anything? Because I'm.
That was the story I had to tell.
All right.
I love that. That was a good one.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for coming. I'd like to thank everybody in the pattern for coming. That we all love the racing, but the people are the best part. So,
Mm-hmm.
thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
You.